This video is a Q&A of learning languages. What's good? I'm Spencer, your adventure vlogger, language teacher. If adventures and languages are what you're into, please consider subscribing. The following questions are from friends, students, and followers, just like you. We're gonna open up all go Twitter, right? Also a little bit of Instagram too. Get some of these questions. For question number one, this is from Jacob. What's the easiest language to learn? I don't think there's like an easier language to learn. I feel that the Romantic language, the Germanic languages with the A, B, C alphabet, quite easier to learn if you already know the alphabet, so you don't have to relearn an alphabet. So it's French, English, Spanish, German. Even though there's nuances in the grammar, I totally get that. It's about learning the alphabet, and usually that is the kicker, right? That's what makes learning a language sometimes more difficult if you can't read the lettering, if you can't read the words. Next we have Nozomi. Nozomi asks, what are ways to improve my listening? That's a great question. Listening is about training your ear. I recommend drowning the sounds of the language you want to hear. So if you want to study Japanese, listen to Japanese podcasts, watch Japanese movies, listen to Japanese music, right? You want to make sure that your brain and your ear are making a connection when you're listening for your target language. Sometimes you won't digest all the information. It's too much, right? You watching the news, it might be too difficult. If that's the case, try to lower the level down. Watch Disney movies. That's what helps me. We got Johnny. Johnny says, how do you practice pronunciations? How do you practice pronunciations? That's a great question. I would say pronunciations come down to recording yourself. That's one of the ultimate ways that I've worked with different tutors and voice coaches to help with pronunciation. I tend to also mimic native speakers. So I would listen to native speakers around me and try my best to copy that sound. Erica, how do you study Japanese? Great question. That's a fantastic question. Japanese learning comes in many phases. You have to be very careful where you start and how you learn the language in its pieces. I broke it down to studying the kanji, the Japanese characters, and the sentences and grammar like immediately. Like try to find sentences and use the kanji like right away. Like don't wait for kanji to come a little later. If you don't get over your fear of kanji, you're never gonna learn Japanese. Don't be afraid. There are a lot of students I know who study Japanese, speak Japanese, but can't read Japanese, so it gets a little awkward. I have online flashcards and I make sentences and I use those sentences on a daily basis. I got Ren from North Carolina goes, how do you study French? That's a good question. I've been studying French since I was a child, and that really helps. Now I go over business vocabulary and certain slangs to keep updated with like young people. So the best way I study French is by watching movies that I already enjoy, or the genre that I already enjoy, and I watch them in French. I usually watch horror movies because language is much like quicker. You know, I get pretty scared sometimes, so I would watch a scary movie, and because it's in French, my brain is processing the language and not getting scared too much. I have a Brandon here. He goes, where do you find language partners? Great question. I find language partners on italki website. I find a mess of language learning apps. There's a few: HelloTalk, Tandem, Language Exchange Pal, mylanguageexchange.com. I also use a lot of my own communities too, so I have like a bunch of Discords that I follow, a handful of little meetup groups that I would attend, because there's probably one in your city where you can meet up in a group where people are studying a language, and then they probably have groups themselves. There's a mess you could find on the internet. Just go on Google and you could find a collection. I'll share mine in some of the descriptions down below. Next I have a Jason. Spencer, how do you use the word hurry in another language? That's pretty funny. In English we would like to say hurry, like hurry up, hurry it up, like yo, hey, hurry up. In Japanese I hear a lot of the students, they have siblings, like brothers and sisters, and someone's like trying to leave early. It's usually the older sister, and it's like hayaku, like hurry up, you know, like hayaku, hayaku. It's so cute. In French it's dépêchez-vous, like you are slow, so speed it up. Dépêchez-vous, dépêche. And that's it. That's the Q&A for this week. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask me on Twitter, Instagram, here on YouTube, and you could probably be featured in this video next week. If you find this to be valuable, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Peace.